Hi, welcome to Infusion Health, the podcast. I'm comedian Chris Patrick, a.k.a. self-proclaimed Power Man. And I'm here with my co-host and significant other, Rach.
Hey, guys.
Now, today we're talking, it's part 2 of People Are People. Man, that's good. No, I'm just kidding. But it's part 2 of our of a series that we got called People Are People. And I'm going to let Rach take it away and tell us what exactly we're going to be talking about today.
So today we're talking about safety and survival.
Safety and survival.
Yeah, so that would involve clothing, shelter, nourishment, which involves food and water, or how you take in your nourishment, defense, and transportation.
Okay, defense and transport. So what was the first one? Safety and survival.
In safety and survival would be your clothing, how you decide to, what kind of clothing you decide to wear. You know, some people choose
jeans and a t-shirt, Power Man t-shirt.
Yeah, that's you. But my kids would be, mom wear. So that would be like a power statement, you know. Yeah, that would be me, you know, talking about, you know, some woman's lib or some LGBTQ or some kind of power statement. That's what I usually wear.
What do you mean? What do you mean power statement?
I usually wear something supporting a Black rights movement or LGBT.
But you're Caucasian.
Exactly. I am Caucasian, but, you know, I have always fought diversity my whole life, you know, and that's not what the podcast this month's about. And that's always a topic that we can return to. But this, you know, there's people that for clothing, they wear Adidas, you know, they wear Under Armour, they wear even more top of the line, you know.
Power Man t-shirt.
No, on top of the line.
I wear top of the line Power Man t-shirt.
Well, I don't think you're going to go get that at the top of the line store.
Okay.
You know, and there's some people that just can't get these. They can't afford them, you know. So, you know, there's some people that choose the maximum way of life. There's some people that choose the minimum way of life. And there's some people that just can't get past that minimum way of life.
Okay, minimum way of life. So what are you talking about? Well, as far as clothing, some people they can't get this expensive clothing.
Exactly. They can't. Not just expensive clothing, the expensive cars. They can't get an expensive house. They can't. You know, for me and you, we choose to try and get to a higher state in life.
Yeah,
some people choose to be perfectly content with living in an apartment for the rest of their lives, living in a very minimum car, and they're completely happy with this.
living in a very minimal. What? Can you elaborate more on that?
Well, there's people that are completely okay with living in these tiny houses these days.
Yeah.
You know, they're completely happy with that. You know, there's people that are happy with living out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many different places that you can choose to live and be completely happy in it, you know. But then there's people that are trying to get ahead and they can't because society keeps them where they are, you know.
Well, do you think it's society that keeps them where they are, or do you think it's them that keep them where you are? Because I don't know about you or the people out there. I was always told, if you want it, go get it. And I'm not talking illegally, but it's like, if you want it, you got to work hard and do that and go get it. And everything I've wanted or what I've achieved right now is because I went out and got it. So, I mean, some people say, well, society. Well, how's it society when you can, you know?
I believe it's you, and I believe it's society. I believe it's you because if you're going to be in your own way and not get out there and try and strive for it, of course it's you. But I also believe it's society because there's a cap on how much you make. and then you can't get you can't get insurance, you can't get coverage, you can't get help.
Wait a minute, cap on how much you make?
Yeah, there's a cap on how much you can make on wage.
Well, I can make as much as I want.
Of course you can, but you also have health insurance through your job.
Yeah.
Well,
you're talking as far as, because I don't want people to wait. I can only make so much. We're talking about people that are in certain fixed incomes. We're talking welfare or something.
Welfare, other insurances out there that are given by the government.
What she's talking about, I think is trying to elaborate, is that you're talking about that if you have kids or whatever and you're on certain government assistance or something like that, if you make over so much amount, the government's going to take away the assistance they're giving you or something like that.
Very much so.
Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly.
Okay. I just wanted you to elaborate.
So, those people can't get ahead. Mm-hmm. They have to stay back so that they can continue to get health insurance.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Yeah, well, the thing is this, and this is, and I've had a lot of discussions with people on that. I mean, a lot of people sit around and go, well, them people are sitting around collecting welfare, and what they mean is those people is they mean black people, but in actuality, and you can look this up, in actuality, the most people on welfare to this day, 2021, is they're white conservatives. I mean, these are white people who are on welfare, who are Republican, who are conservative, who vote conservatively, and there are more people like them on welfare than there are black people. So, and that's some of the things that the media doesn't tell us,
Right. And it's not just black people; it's minorities.
Yeah.
It's minorities that are being ruled out.
Well, and I'm sorry, I don't have the history on welfare, but I think it was set up. It was set up years ago. I'm not sure if it was Johnson or whatever that set it up, but it was originally set up to help you achieve, to help you get better. But it looks like somewhere, and again, I don't have the answers. It looks like somewhere down the line, it looks like to keep you there.
Yeah, absolutely. But, me as a single mother, before you came into the picture, I
was forced to. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we hog-tied him into this.
If you see that kid, they probably did hog-tie.
Mother of 5 just hog-tied him in.
Hey, kids, meet your new daddy.
I don't think so. Moving on. Mother of 5. I had to meet those guidelines, and I couldn't go over those guidelines. I couldn't push myself above those guidelines because I needed that health insurance for my 5 kids. I absolutely do.
Yeah.
And what am I supposed to do? I can't be a millionaire and be able to have health insurance for my kids, but if I achieve being a millionaire, then I don't have to get government assistance.
Yeah.
So there's a level of planning, when you are striving to become better. Mm-hmm. So how do you achieve when you're in your minimum to become your maximum?
Well, first of all, like I was telling one of our oldest daughters, she was like, she wanted to do something. I'm not going to get in, but I said, well, she wanted to go out of town with some friends. And I said, well, listen, I said, what does every coach have? Every coach. I said, the people who coach, I said, do you know everybody has a coach? Race car drivers, they have a coach. Basketball players, they have a coach. Football players have a coach. Rugby players have a coach. Soccer players have a coach. And what's one thing they do every time they go into a game? And she's like, what? I go, what's one thing they all got to have? She's like, what? I go, a game plan. I would say you got to set up a game plan. And if you really want to go forward, you got to set up a game plan and go, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. But you end up having to wanting to achieve. You got to, like I said, have a game plan and go forward with it. And you may have to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs or whatever. But if you work hard, you can get there. I'm not saying you got to go work 3 jobs. You need time to rest. But again, have a game plan,
Well, we basically have 3 jobs, with the podcast isn't making money right now, but it's our 3rd job.
Yeah.
And I have 2 jobs. You've got 5. And then we're raising the 5 kids,
Trying to raise 5 kids.
But, going on with this podcast before we run out of time, there's people that enjoy the minimum. They're completely content with having that minimal life. You don't have to have the maximum to have happiness, but you need to know where your happiness is.
Well, some people, it's kind of like, go back a little bit to the, different strokes, what might be good for some may not be good for a few, may not be good for some, or whatever the lyrics are. But anyways, some people may be happy with that. Like, hey, you know what? I like living in this apartment. I don't, I pay my bills every month. I got this. I got money in the bank. I'm happy with it. I don't need a house. And then I got to, but with a house comes more responsibility. I got to worry about getting the lawn done. I got to worry about this. But hey, living in this apartment is easy for me, And if that's who you are and that's what you like, that's fine.
I mean, there's people that have the maximum and wish they had a little bit more minimum.
Yeah. And then there's some people who have the maximum, want more and more and more and more.
Exactly. But is that because they cannot sustain what they have at their level and they're trying to are they living in their means?
Yeah.
Or are they wanting more maximum because so that they can hold on to what they have right now? Mm-hmm. Are they living inside their means? Are they truly happy with what they have? Or are they completely content with wanting to jump for more? You got to know where your happiness level is and then reach for it.
Yeah, well, there are people who do have a lot of money in the bank, and when you see where they live, you're like, you're living in this, and they go, yeah, I'm living in this. But dude, you got all this money, you could think, what I need that for,
Exactly. And there's tons of people that there's people out there that have tons of money and they're giving it away to, people that they don't have that much.
Yeah.
That need more, and because they live a minimal life, because they have maximum money, they are able to give to the people that have minimal.
Well, that's interesting because like we talked about last time, there's this book called You're a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. You can find it on Amazon. And once again, we're not getting paid, and this is not a paid endorsement. This is a book I've actually read, and I'm not getting paid anyway. But it is a book you want to. And what I liked about the book is it doesn't say like, hey, do this, it's going to make you a millionaire. What she talks about is that a lot of people talk about, yeah, well, to get rich, you gotta step on people, you got to do this, you got to be a jerk and all that. And she's like, no. If you do want to make money, there's a lot of good you can do with the money. Like, hey, you know what? I can give to this program. I can do this. I can give to this program or give to this program. I can help this people out. I can help this charity out. I can help this thing. So it's not just about getting rich and, having yachts and all that. And I mean, and again, if that's what you want, great. But it's also, there's a lot of good things you can do with money,
Absolutely.
I can buy this vacant lot in my neighborhood and turn it into a park for kids. I could do this. So there's a lot of good, and that's one of the things I liked about the book.
Another thing to talk about in this month's discussion is survival. Now, you've started taking the steps to learn how to shoot a gun properly.
Yeah.
Now that came about for what reason?
Well, I'm a big James Bond fan, so I've just never shot a handgun. So I wanted to do it. I wanted to learn how to do it. So I went because it's a very dangerous thing to be fooling around with. And if I got something like that, I'm messing with. I don't want to just go get a gun and just start shooting cans in the back. I want to be around some people who know what they're doing that can teach me to do it properly. So that's what kind of brought it. And also too, for protection of the house and stuff like that,
I mean, some people are completely content with having a normal bat in the house,
Yeah.
And there's some people that, why not an AK-47?
I don't need an AK-47.
I understand that, but there are some people that feel completely, having their rights to an AK-47.
Okay, well, can I just so the listeners out there, we are not part of any NRA groups, and we are not.
No, we're not.
we're just talking about, and we do feel that if you do need a gun to settle your problems, please seek professional help.
Please.
But we are not part of any AK groups, and we are not endorsing any AK groups. It's just for me, it's just a thing of protection. Me personally, I do feel that, hey, if you have a gun in the home for protection, that is your right, and you can have that. So just for the listeners out there.
But yeah, I mean, I literally talked to somebody at work. She feels that she does not have an AK-47, but she does feel it is her right.
Yeah.
One of the things that we talked about was, there needs to be more guards about how you gauge a person's personality, mindset before you release those kind of guns. But here's the thing. Those people that get those kind of guns, they're going to get them regardless if they're allowed to have them or not.
Yeah.
There's people on the streets that have guns regardless if they're allowed to have them or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they feel that that's what they need for survival.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and, well, like I said, when I went, and this is from my own personal experience, when I went to the class to learn how to handle a gun and learn how to shoot a gun, what I found out, and this was the first time I shot a handgun, and when I was shooting it, I was like shooting it, and what I hit me was like, this is nothing to be playing around with, and I could not believe that here I am, an older gentleman looking at this thing going, man, I can't believe there are young 14, 15, young teenage kids running around with these things. This is nothing to be playing around with.
Exactly.
And it hit me at a thing like, man, I can't believe some kid is, going to school with something like this. This hate to say, but this is dangerous. And yeah, it should be in the proper hands, and it should be with people who know what they're doing. But kids running around with stuff like this is like, no.
Exactly. And even fathers giving rifles to their sons, teaching their sons how to shoot a deer or whatever. There's a teaching moment there. Yeah.
And I know I grew up with here in Minnesota. I knew a lot of my friends. They went hunting with their dads every hunting season. Unfortunately, they didn't bring me no deer steak. But anyways, I love deer steak. But yeah, and I thought it was great. There's a lot of kids who went. I was one who went fishing with my dad and stuff like that. That's some of the more fond memories I've had with my dad fishing. So, of course, I never like to eat them. I just like catching them.
But that's part of our survival, goes back to way past our generations and ancestry, and it's just who we are to our core, who our nourishment, goes back to our food and what we first learned to eat, and some of our future podcasts will be talking about what did our guests eat for Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
But it's just, what is your take? What is your ultimate, for survival? What would you want for the house?
A Lamborghini.
Okay, Lamborghini. You want transportation, but do you need a security camera? What do you need in your house? What do you need for your house? You know what I'm saying?
A Harley.
Yeah. Okay. So you need a car and a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you need it in a garage?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'd sell one of the kids to get a motor. No, I'm kidding. The kids are not for sale.
No, the kids are not for sale.
Maybe the youngest one. No,
Do you need an alarm on the house for that?
Well, where we live is pretty suburban neighborhood. Okay, so neighborhood. I don't think I need an alarm and all that. But yeah, you would definitely need a garage to put it in the wintertime or something like that, or a storage space or something like that for the wintertime.
So, I mean, it's all about what is your minimum and where is your happiness.
Well, the thing I've learned a few years ago, I lost my job with this one company, and I ended up living on a friend's couch. And what it really taught me was that all the stuff I had, I had to put in storage and all that, and then I'm paying monthly for this storage. And what it taught me was that, do I really need all this stuff? And I just looked at it like, this is material stuff, and this ain't what I need. And I definitely didn't need it at the time, because I was like, you know what? All I need right now, I need this. And I didn't have a car, so I was taking the bus a lot. And I said, well, I need this, but all this other stuff I don't need. But I was paying for that storage space. Then when me and Rach moved in together, I said, let me clean out this storage space because I'm paying way too much money. And now it's in the garage. And then it's one of the things. And when we have Reverend Joanna, we'll talk about some of the stuff we're going to talk about as far as the new year, as far as releasing. Some of that time is like, I just got to release this stuff. I got to get rid of it because I don't need it. I don't use it. What's it doing sitting here? So it really hit me in a thing of, I don't really need this stuff. This stuff is just, it's weighing me down. It's not doing anything. It's sitting around. So I learned what I need was just the basics. I need a place to live. I need a place to live. I need transportation, whether it was public or private. I didn't have my own car, so I had to use public transportation, and, just a place to sleep and food. And that's all I needed,
mm-hmm.
And a change of underwear. No, I'm kidding.
But now that me and you are doing in a better place, we're striving to get to a little bit more maximum.
Yeah. But then there is a lot of stuff, and we do it every spring to where it's like, we got to get rid of this stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, it's basically look at it and just go, we look at it and like, hey, you know what? Don't need it. Go.
Cleanse it.
We're not using, get rid of it.
Cleanse it.
The Goodwill know us by name.
But we never take in like a massive overload.
Well, yeah, we try not to.
Yeah.
We try not to, but then again, you've outgrown it. You don't use it. It's just sitting there. It's like, and that's one of the things. Come Christmas time, because people get, Chris, I like, listen, do not give me anything that sits around the house.
Yeah,
I got enough stuff that sits around the house.
Yeah,
but, and I don't need it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, knowing where your minimum is, knowing where your maximum is, and if you want to achieve, moving towards your maximum, do it with a game plan. It's not that society needs to tie you down. You just need to do it with a game plan.
Yeah.
Because I understand, mother of 5, did it by myself for a while there. It was living on government. I knew that I could only live within my means, but, have your game plan, work it out strong, and you can achieve the maximum, with living in your minimum and then blow it up.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was interesting when you talk about people who have the maximum. Like there's this guy. He's a party planner, and it was on this show called Joan Rivers used to host it. The late Joan Rivers used to host it. How Did You Get So Rich? And there was this guy. He was a party planner, and he's planned parties for Oprah. He's planned parties for all these rich people. I mean, this guy has a lot of money. But he lives in like this 1-bedroom apartment in New York. And she's like, why do you got all this? The reason he does that is because he can save up his money because he loves to travel. So he loves to scuba dive. So he's been all over the world scuba diving. And he goes, I'll take like a month vacation, in the Caribbean and all that, and go scuba diving and all that. It's like, hey. And I saw this and I'm like, well, hey, if that's what you like to do, you spend less here on not having a big house, but then you get to have more fun there. And if that's what you like to do,
I mean, for me and you, we know what our next step is and to move into a house, but we don't want it so maximum that we can't travel, because that's ultimately what we love to do.
Oh yeah. Well, that's interesting. a couple weeks ago, one of our oldest, she wanted to go out of town with her cousin, and we said, "Well, and she goes, well, you guys go on trips all the time?" I said, "Yeah, but we plan our trips. You know,
Absolutely.
we work all year. We got 6-7 months into planning." And we're working and we figure out where we're going to go, where we're going to stay. We got it all planned out before we even go. We don't just pick up and go.
We YouTube it, we book it, we research the place.
Yeah.
We research the place. Like we decide like, okay, we're going to check out that, we're going to check out that, we're going to check out that, we're going to check out that restaurant. And then we like have a ball.
Yeah. And well, and it's also too the thing with traveling too is that she's a 18-year-old kid who just wants. It's like, well, no, you got to where are you going to stay at? How are you going to get there? How are you going to get back? You know, and also for the variables too is like, okay, if you run out of this, can you stay here? Can you do this? You know, how are you going to get all the way here and all the way back?
She wanted to do a half-day trip to Chicago.
Well, to let the listeners know, we live in Minneapolis, and to drive from Minneapolis to Chicago is like a 6-hour drive, probably 7, because you got to go through all these toll booths. I think there's a way around it. If anybody knows a way to avoid those toll booths, but you got to go through like 4 toll booths, but you got to hit Chicago at a certain time. If you hit Chicago like 2, 3 in the morning, you could probably get through a little faster. If you hit it in the morning, 6 through like 11, 12, anytime like that, you're going to be sitting in traffic waiting to get through toll booths.
Even on a Sunday.
Even on a Sunday. Yeah, a few years ago, we went to Chicago. A couple years ago, we went to Chicago. We were coming back. I couldn't believe it. It was 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday afternoon, and we're bumper to bumper traffic. And guess who was driving? Mwah. And Rachel's sitting back there making her dream catch. She's like, "I'm glad you're driving." I'm like, "Yeah, thanks a lot."
Yep.
And our daughter decided, "Oh yeah, we're just going to go up to Chicago for the day and turn around and come back." I'm like, with only, and I think what they have, one driver or
1 or 2.
Yeah, 1 or 2 drive.
She personally does not drive right now.
Yeah,
so.
she doesn't have her. She knows how to drive. She just doesn't have her license. And we're like, you can't do that. You're gonna have to stay somewhere. With 2 drivers, it can be done, but that's a lot of driving.
Why do I have to book a hotel? Oh my goodness, whatever. You don't know. Yeah. You don't know. But yeah, I mean, like I was saying, for those that have achieved their love of their minimum, congratulations. For those that are completely happy with their maximum, hey, I'm happy for you. You know, for those that are trying to get there, keep on going.
Yeah, keep on pushing.
You know, it can be achieved. You know, you just need to know where your happiness is, and that's all I'm seeing and saying in these People Are People miniseries. Each one are all about where is your true happiness.
Yeah, well, I've seen story after story of people who had great corporate jobs. They were lawyers, they were stockbrokers, made a lot of money, and they just said, "Hey, I'm quitting." Next thing you know, they're somewhere in Hawaii or something selling surfboards, or they're somewhere. We started our own business. We just didn't want to do the corporate thing anymore, you know. And hey, whatever makes you happy, you know.
Exactly. I mean, that's the whole thing. Know where your happiness is.
Yeah, find your true happiness first.
But yeah, I mean, you got anything else to say?
Like I said, just try to find your true happiness first, and you know, don't judge a book by its cover, because you may see somebody who's like, "Man, he has this," but you never know. This guy may have a lot of money and may be doing something. So, thanks a lot. Like I said, that book is called "You're a Badass at Making Money" by Jen Sincero. Like I said, this is not a paid endorsement or anything like that. This is just books. Another great book out there is The Richest Man in Babylon. I'm listening to that now on YouTube because I ain't got time to read everything, but really, really great book. Really, really recommend it. And like I said, this is not a paid endorsement. We're not getting paid for those. So just something you may want to check out. And I will let Rach close us out, and she's going to tell us about what the next episode of People Are People will be.
All right. So in November, you guys look forward to Understanding and Growth. It'll talk about your culture, your arts, your education, your adornment, religion, and self-belief. So that's what we'll talk about in November, you guys. Anyways, closing us out. History is built on lines of hate. On here, we're trying to build lines of love and trying to make you guys your best advocate. Thank you for joining us. If you love what you heard, please subscribe and tell others. And until next week, thank you for joining us.
And we're out.